Good day, everybody. I'm Shmee, and I make guides for Path of Exile's Ruthless mode. If you're enjoying the content, please hit that like button, and feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more. Yesterday, we got the Affliction patch notes, and oh man, there are some really interesting things for us Ruthless players in here. Also, I think it's really funny that apparently so many people whined about Ruthless getting too much attention that now they have to hide our patch notes behind a damn spoiler. Frickin' crybabies. Anyway, today I'm here to talk about the biggest league changes or additions that will make an impact once Affliction League drops. Let's just dive right into it. The biggest change that I can see is the combination of changes to the Divine Font and the Eternal Labyrinth. GGG has revised alternate skill gem quality such that instead of finding an anomalous skill gem, you now simply take your regular skill gem over to the Divine Font and you can exchange it for one of 3 alternate versions. These new transfigured skill gems will function similarly to how skill runes worked if you ever played Diablo 3. It's the same skill overall, but it will shift that skill into something else that is similar but mechanically different. We don't know all the transfigured gems, but one example they gave changes Raise Zombie to deal area damage instead of actually summoning a minion. It still counts as a minion skill, and thus it still benefits from increases to minion damage, but it doesn't actually summon a minion if you trade out that alternate skill gem. The thing is, these transfigured gems are acquired in the Eternal Labyrinth. Many people are talking about the new transfigured skill gems as though they're going to shake up the leveling meta. I don't think they will in Ruthless. You're not going to be acquiring these gems until deep into the endgame, so however you level, you're going to be doing it with the standard quest reward gems. In addition to the transfigured skill gems, you can now craft experience onto skill gems using the Divine Font. In Ruthless, this is now the best way for spellcasters to push themselves deep into the endgame. Getting your skill gems up to level 20 can be a nightmare in Ruthless mode. Now that you can simply use the Divine Font, it's going to be a lot easier to do it. I have not seen anyone talking about this, and I think it may be the most impactful long-term change for Ruthless mode. Ruthless already heavily favors ranged and spellcasting builds, and now caster builds are being gifted a way to quickly push their gems up to level 20. It's possible that the experience we get to craft in Ruthless is significantly nerfed, but being able to toss a few extra 100 million XP onto your skill gems will save you weeks of grinding. Crafting experience onto your skill gems is huge for us Ruthless players. The last major change to the Divine Font is the new ability to sacrifice any support gem for one of the exceptional gems Enhance, Enlighten, or Empower. Getting +2 to all linked gems, or plus 16% quality, is simply going to be the norm for late endgame builds, even in Ruthless. In Affliction League, the 3 exceptional gems will go from being extraordinarily rare to being easily farmable. Not only can we acquire those exceptional skill gems quite easily, but they're also revising all skill gem quality. Looking through the changes, almost all of them represent some kind of power increase for the skill gem. Being able to easily stack an abusable gem quality with the enhanced support gem is going to be huge. There are a few that stand out to me, but I'm saving that for my next video. I have seen a lot of people saying rip Heist, but I don't think this at all applies to Ruthless. You still get multiple contracts per smuggler's cache, you still get lots of XP, you still get lots of item drops. With these changes, now when you run a blueprint, you can expect to get more gear because you'll be getting those alt quality gems from the Labyrinth instead. I do not see Heist falling out of A tier in my mechanics ranking for Ruthless. In addition to the sweeping changes to skill gems, there were 2 notable changes to Ruthless Ascendancies. First, unsurprisingly, Sentinel Guardian is getting smacked hard by the nerf bat. The build still looks okay, but I think it's going to be outclassed by SRS Necro in Affliction League. The second change was this sneaky little update right here. Assassins in Ruthless now have the ability to poison with any damage type. Poison was already king in Ruthless, and now assassins have the ability to inflict lightning, cold, or fire poison. I expect assassin poison builds to be the most commonly used as league starters for Ruthless Affliction League. In Affliction League, we will be saying goodbye to Metamorph. Apologies to all Metamorph enjoyers, but it's being replaced with Ultimatum. If you never played Ultimatum, imagine a ritual where every time you win, you can double down for extra rewards. Most likely, Ultimatum will purely outclass Ritual in Ruthless. We'll have to wait and see exactly what the Ultimatum rewards look like, but my gut is telling me that the return of Ultimatum will also drop Ritual on my tier list down to F tier. Ultimatum rewards are jewelry, skill gems, and currency, all high quality, and they're cumulative. So if you win after you double down multiple times, you get to keep all of the rewards you chose. It's possible that Ultimatum rewards in Ruthless are badly nerfed, but even being able to pull 5 transmutes out of an Ultimatum encounter would be huge for us Ruthless players. With the changes to the Divine Font and the addition of Ultimatum on the left-hand side of the Atlas, I think that Affliction League is generally going to be a left-side Atlas league. And now, finally, let's talk about the actual Affliction mechanic. I've got a few things to point out. The new mechanic revolves around the Wildwood, an area that you enter from each Affliction encounter. In this area, you can acquire wisps. They're a league currency vaguely similar to how Azurite works with Delve. Not just that, but when you return to the map after leaving the Wildwood, the wisps that you found will escape and inhabit monsters in your map. The thing is, there are 3 different kinds of wisps, and all 3 are useful for different reasons. Wild wisps give a bonus to item quantity, primal wisps give a bonus to item rarity, and vivid wisps cause monsters to drop additional currency items. You'll also be meeting 3 different NPCs, each one linked to one of the kinds of wisps. These NPCs will give you a secondary ascendancy tree that your character will have in addition to your class ascendancy. The first of these 3 NPCs is the Breaker of Oaths, who can give you the Warlock of the Mists ascendancy. This ascendancy is going to be tied to a general quantity bonus, and it is especially powerful for Templars, Witches, and spellcasting Marauders. You can pick up blood magic without ever going near the south side of the passive tree, and you can convert all of the energy shield on your gear into life. Cannibalized Faith also has some very interesting potential with skills that take advantage of a high added spell damage modifier. There are also some corpse things that you can get, but they feel underwhelming for Ruthless. There will be a Spectre build that takes advantage of what you can do with these corpses, but if you want to play an actual Necromancer Spectre build, you're going to need to acquire multiple unique items. And even if you can find a great minion and keep it alive, its monster level is static, so it's going to need to be replaced eventually. You will need to regularly farm, acquire, and store corpses to the extent that I think you're going to need a dedicated stash tab just for all the corpses you're buying. The corpse thing seems fun, but it's probably not something that you should do on a Ruthless League starter. My biggest question is this: what impact does the Warlock of the Mist's increased quantity have on the Ruthless map sustain problem? Does becoming a Warlock of the Mist remove the need to sprint to Wandering Path and get the pack size circle? Can you just get however many maps you need as long as you're a Warlock of the Mists? We will see. The second NPC you can find is called the Primal Huntress. Instead of the quantity wisps, she specializes in the rarity wisps. While getting an extra source of increased item rarity will be a solid choice, in my view the main benefit from the Huntress comes from her Ascendancy. Instead of giving a completed Wildwood Ascendancy, the Primal Huntress gives one with charm sockets and then sells charms that have stats from various Ascendancy classes. My first reaction would be taking Ascendancies from other classes, that's crazy overpowered and that she would easily be the best. But I've been thinking about it, and I actually think that she might be the worst up until the very end of the late endgame. Try to think of a way that you could break alternate class Ascendancies. There are many ways to do it, but you need to find an extremely specific set of charms. The best way that I can think of doing it would be to get as many +1 totems and battle mage charms as you can get. But are those even options? Like, what am I going to play as a league starter? Triple Holy Flame Totem Hierophant? I mean, also, in Standard League, Witches and Duelists get Reflect Immunity from the Ascendancy tree, but you can only get that as a Scion in Ruthless. Will Reflect Immunity even be an option for us Ruthless players? I'm not at all saying that the Primal Huntress is bad. By the end of the season, I expect almost everyone will be using her. My concern is that I don't know what I can get, when I can get it, or how difficult it will be to unlock. Trying to plan around the Primal Huntress feels like a really big mistake. Her greatest strength will be all the meme builds that she enables after your league starter has farmed up a bunch of special charms. Now, the last of the 3 NPCs is called the Warden of Eves. If you play Ruthless, you should plan on using the Warden of Eves and his Wildwood Ascendancy on your league starter. Why? Oath of the Magi. This Ascendancy gives you massive buffs to all resistances, life, and movement speed as long as you keep your items empty of socketed gems. Standard League players can cry all they want about how it limits their ability to use support gems and auras, but what do we Ruthless players care? Imagine playing any one skill build. You could socket whatever your main skill is into your body armor. You could put Decoy or Ancestor or Ballista Totem in your weapon, and then Vitality and Enduring Cry. Well, I mean, you could pick up an Unset Ring and an Abyss Belt for those. As long as you keep your build simple and restricted to 1 or 2 damaging skills, you can keep your helmet, gloves, and boots empty and thus pick up plus 50% to all resistances, plus 25% life, and plus 30% movement speed, basically for free. Once you're done with the campaign and you've farmed up supports worth using, you could flip to one of the other Wildwood Ascendancies if you'd like, or just keep it and farm up a whole bunch of gear for a second stacked up and broken build. And what's really crazy is that you can get Oath of the Magi as your very first Wildwood Ascendancy. This is something that you will likely be able to pick up around Act 3 or 4. I am very confident that the #1 strategy for leveling in Ruthless Affliction League will involve speedrunning Oath of the Magi. And I'm going to be 100% honest here, I considered not telling you all about this and just keeping it to myself because I think it's going to be that powerful, but I could never do that to you guys. And on top of Oath of the Magi, the Warden of Eves gives us the ability to equip tinctures. These tinctures will then apply a support gem effect to all of our skills globally, but you only get one. Is there any build where you could wish to apply a support gem universally to all of your skills? Take something like Penance Brand and Wave of Conviction. It would be really nice to have a universal physical to lightning tincture. Any elemental damage dealer would love a universal elemental penetration support, or universal faster attacks, or universal critical damage, or. And don't forget about the extra currency that you're going to be picking up from the Vivid Wisps. Not only is Oath of the Magi a sparkling and diamond-studded gift to all of us Ruthless players, but I think most people are really sleeping on tinctures. For my Affliction starter, my one and only focus is going to be on using the Warden of Eves, at least during the campaign. There are a ton of questions up in the air as to what exactly you can get and when you can get it, but in my opinion, there is no better early choice in Ruthless than the Warden of Eves. Either way, we're going to be seeing a big meta shakeup due to all the skill gem changes, we're getting Ultimatum back, and there are many, many more interesting toys that we get to play with. I don't know about all of you, but I am incredibly hyped for Affliction League. Next up, I'll be making a video talking specifically about a couple of the skill gems that were changed that I think are very breakable now. Then I'm going to be making a video with some suggested league starters, and my plan is to post the Ruthless Blight guide right when the new season drops. Should be a whole lot of great stuff coming up soon. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, take care, Exiles.